Ali Abulaban, better known as Jin Kid on TikTok, gained recognition for his comedic impressions and relatable content. His videos attracted thousands of followers, making him a rising figure in the online world. Anna Abulaban, his wife, was described by those who knew her as a caring mother and a social, outgoing person. Together, they seemed to have built a life filled with shared moments and family memories. But behind the public posts and viral videos, there were growing tensions that eventually led to a devastating outcome. How did the life of a TikTok star turn into a shocking case of betrayal and murder? Ali Abulaban and Anna met several years before their marriage. Their relationship seemed like a typical love story, filled with shared moments and affection. They were often seen smiling together, enjoying outings, and celebrating special events. Their wedding, a joyous occasion, marked the beginning of their life together in San Diego. The couple welcomed a daughter, adding another chapter to their growing family. In the early years of their marriage, Ali and Anna shared tender moments, holding hands during walks, affectionate kisses at family gatherings, and hugs that conveyed the warmth of a young couple in love. These intimate gestures appeared to solidify their bond, and they built a life centered around their daughter and their home. However, over time, cracks began to show. Ali's behavior became more controlling, and he displayed signs of jealousy. According to reports, Anna began to feel trapped, as Ali increasingly restricted her social interactions and made her feel uneasy in their relationship. The tensions continued to grow, and eventually Anna made the difficult decision to separate from Ali. She couldn't overlook the emotional toll of his actions. Ali, however, struggled with the separation, and his mental health began to deteriorate. As their relationship unraveled, he became more obsessed with Anna. Despite the separation, he could not let go of his feelings, which led to destructive behaviors that would soon escalate. In the weeks leading up to the tragic events, Anna Abulaban had moved into an apartment in the East Village neighborhood of San Diego. She was living there with her young daughter after separating from her husband, Ali Abulaban. Court records show that Anna's decision to move was driven by concerns about her safety and a desire to begin anew. Ali, however, struggled to cope with the separation. According to statements provided during the investigation, his behavior became increasingly unstable. Authorities reported that Ali gained unauthorized access to Anna's apartment by using a copied key. Once inside, he installed a listening device on their daughter's iPad to monitor Anna's activities and conversations. This device allowed him to hear everything that happened in the apartment remotely. Anna remained focused on moving forward. She maintained communication with friends and was reportedly making plans to finalize her divorce. One friend, Rayburn Cardenas Barron, often provided emotional support during this period. According to witness accounts, their friendship was a source of comfort for Anna as she navigated the challenges of her situation. Official reports from law enforcement noted that Ali's erratic behavior escalated. He frequently monitored Anna's movements and expressed anger over her decision to separate. His use of the listening device allowed him to track her interactions, deepening his fixation on her daily life. In her final days, Anna's friends recalled her determination to resolve the legal aspects of her separation and ensure stability for herself and her daughter. She was preparing for a future where she could focus on providing a safe environment for her child, unaware of the tragedy that was about to unfold. The details from court records and police investigations show that the events leading up to the crime were marked by growing tension and behavior that would ultimately culminate in a devastating act. On the day of the murders, Ali Abulaban's actions were a culmination of weeks of obsessive behavior and emotional distress. According to police reports, Ali had been using the listening device he secretly installed in Anna's apartment to monitor her conversations. On this particular day, Anna and Rayburn Cardenas Barron were having a conversation in the apartment. They were discussing everyday matters, unaware that Ali was listening to their exchange from a remote location. At some point during their conversation, something triggered a violent reaction in Ali. Police later described how Ali, enraged by the conversation he overheard, made a hasty decision. He grabbed a firearm that he had obtained and drove to Anna's apartment. Witnesses later confirmed that Ali arrived at the building and made his way to the apartment. What followed next would change the course of their lives forever. Ali confronted Anna and Rayburn inside the apartment. Details from the investigation revealed that Ali's emotions were charged with jealousy and anger. He reportedly had a heated argument with both of them, driven by his growing suspicion and frustration. In an act of uncontrollable rage, Ali pulled out the gun and fired multiple shots, striking both Anna and Rayburn. Police were called to the scene shortly after, and first responders arrived to find both victims unresponsive. Anna and Rayburn had been killed in an instant, their lives cut short by Ali's actions. What was once a family home, where Anna had sought refuge with her daughter, became the scene of a brutal tragedy. Law enforcement officials later confirmed that Ali had been arrested shortly after the murders. He was found driving away from the scene with the gun still in his possession. The shocking nature of the murders sent ripples through the community. Ali's previously public persona as a TikTok influencer clashed with the reality of the violence that had unfolded. Investigators were left to piece together the motive and timeline. But one thing became clear. Ali's jealousy and obsession with Anna were central to the tragic events that day. As authorities processed the scene, they also focused on the emotional toll on Anna's daughter, who had been left without both parents. The emotional and psychological impact on the young child became a critical part of the investigation, as officials worked to provide support in the aftermath. The day that began as a routine for Anna and Rayburn ended in horror. The crime would leave an indelible mark on all who were involved and would ultimately lead to a public examination of the dark side of fame, jealousy, and the consequences of unchecked emotional instability. After the tragic murders, Ali Abulaban's immediate actions revealed the gravity of his crime. Authorities later reported that, shortly after the shooting, Ali made a phone call to his mother. During the call, he confessed to the murders of his wife, Anna, and her friend Rayburn Cardenas Barron. According to law enforcement, Ali's mother urged him to turn himself in, but Ali was still in a state of emotional distress. As police responded to the crime scene in San Diego, they began gathering evidence and securing the area. It wasn't long before authorities learned that Ali had fled the scene, still in possession of the firearm. They immediately launched a manhunt to locate him. The situation escalated when, just hours later, Ali was spotted driving along a San Diego highway. Law enforcement officers intercepted him, and a dramatic arrest took place. Footage from the arrest showed Ali being taken into custody, with the loaded weapon still in the car. He was detained without further incident. Once arrested, Ali was charged with 2 counts of murder, one for Anna and one for Rayburn. In the aftermath of his capture, details from the investigation began to shed light on the circumstances that led to the crime. His confession to his mother and the evidence gathered at the scene painted a clear picture of the events that unfolded. One of the most devastating consequences of the murders was the impact on Anna and Ali's young daughter. Anna had been a dedicated mother, and her daughter was left without both of her parents. Authorities began to work with child services to ensure the child's well-being, offering support during this difficult time. The emotional toll on the child, coupled with the tragic loss of both her parents, became a focal point in the aftermath of the crime. While the case focused on Ali's actions, the fate of the young daughter raised concerns about the long-term effects of the violence on her future. Ali's arrest and the subsequent legal proceedings would not only mark the end of his life as a public figure, but also serve as a reminder of the destructive power of unchecked emotions, jealousy, and violence. The crime had far-reaching consequences, extending beyond the immediate victims to affect an entire family. Following Ali Abulaban's arrest, the legal process began, and the case quickly became the center of public attention. As the trial date approached, Ali pled not guilty to the charges of murder, claiming that the crime was an impulsive act driven by a moment of rage. His defense team argued that Ali did not plan the killings, but rather acted in a state of emotional distress. However, the prosecution's case presented a different narrative. The prosecution emphasized the evidence of premeditation. Central to their argument was the fact that Ali had been monitoring Anna's every move for weeks. Investigators found that the listening device, which Ali had secretly installed in Anna's apartment, was evidence of his obsessive behavior and intention to track her activities. Furthermore, the prosecution brought forward witness testimony about previous threats Ali had made toward Anna, showing a pattern of controlling and threatening behavior. Courtroom sketches captured the intense atmosphere as both sides presented their cases. Legal experts noted the significance of the evidence, which suggested that Ali had planned the murders rather than acting in a spontaneous fit of jealousy. The listening device, which allowed him to eavesdrop on Anna's private conversations, was particularly damaging to his defense. It indicated that Ali had been obsessively monitoring her and had the means to carry out the crime. Public reactions to the case were widespread, with media coverage dominating headlines across San Diego and beyond. News outlets provided ongoing coverage, and interviews with legal experts delved into the complexities of the case. Social media played a significant role in shaping public opinion. As more details about Ali's background and his actions came to light, online discussions intensified, with people expressing shock and outrage over the brutal nature of the crime. The case also sparked debates about the role of social media in exacerbating personal tensions. Ali's online presence, particularly on TikTok, had garnered him a large following, but it also served as a platform for him to broadcast his frustrations and increasingly erratic behavior. Social media posts, which had once been a source of entertainment for his followers, now seemed to reflect a growing instability that ultimately contributed to the tragic events. As the trial continued, the case became a point of discussion for many, both in legal circles and among the public. The courtroom drama unfolded with each new piece of evidence, while the question of whether Ali would be held accountable for premeditated murder loomed over the proceedings. Legal analysts speculated on the potential outcomes, with some predicting a lengthy prison sentence and others considering the possibility of a plea deal. Ultimately, the trial represented more than just the fate of Ali Abulaban. It highlighted the intersection of personal relationships, mental health, and the impact of modern technology on behavior. The case would leave a lasting impression on those involved, as well as on the public's understanding of how dangerous obsessive behaviors and emotional instability can become when left unchecked. The case of Ali Abulaban and Ana Abulaban sheds light on the growing influence of social media and the complex dynamics that can unfold within relationships. With Ali's rise to fame on TikTok, it is clear that the pressures of online notoriety can impact personal lives in ways that many people may not anticipate. As an influencer with a large following, Ali's public persona often clashed with his private life, ultimately contributing to his obsessive behavior and erratic actions. Social media, while offering opportunities for fame and success, can also magnify personal struggles. For those like Ali, the need for validation, attention, and control can blur the boundaries between online and offline lives. His social media presence, which once entertained followers with humorous content, may have also reflected deeper emotional issues. Many influencers, particularly those who gain popularity quickly, can experience the stress of maintaining a public image, which sometimes leads to unhealthy coping mechanisms. The impact of social media on relationships cannot be ignored. The pressure to present a perfect life online can be overwhelming and at times lead to misunderstandings, jealousy, and insecurity. For Ali and Ana, their once happy relationship began to deteriorate under the weight of these pressures. Ali's controlling tendencies and insecurities, fueled by his online presence, created an unhealthy dynamic between them. Ana's attempts to regain control over her life, especially after their separation, made her a target for his anger and obsession. This case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of recognizing the warning signs of an abusive relationship. Abusive behaviors, whether emotional, psychological, or physical, often escalate in dangerous ways. Experts note that one of the most important steps in addressing domestic abuse is early intervention. Recognizing red flags, such as controlling behaviors, jealousy, or intimidation, can help prevent further harm and provide an opportunity for individuals to seek help. For Ana, the situation ultimately escalated to a tragic outcome. As Ali's obsession grew, he crossed boundaries that led to violence. It is a painful reminder that the early signs of emotional or psychological abuse should never be ignored, and individuals who experience such behavior must seek support before the situation worsens. Advocacy for victims of domestic violence has become an essential part of discussions surrounding cases like this. There are resources available for those who feel trapped in abusive relationships, offering support, counseling, and legal assistance. Domestic violence hotlines, shelters, and support groups provide critical services to individuals in need. The more awareness raised about the dangers of domestic violence and toxic relationships, the more likely individuals will be able to break free from harmful situations. As society continues to grapple with the impact of social media on mental health and relationships, it is vital to ensure that the tools available to help individuals experiencing abuse are easily accessible. The story of Anna and Ali serves as a tragic reminder that behind every viral moment, there can be a complex and sometimes dangerous reality. It's essential that we continue to focus on creating awareness, supporting victims, and offering resources for those who need help. The tragic events surrounding the deaths of Anna Abulaban and Rayburn Cardenas Barron left a lasting impact on their families, friends, and the broader community. The loss of Anna, a mother, and Rayburn, a friend, has been felt deeply by those who knew them. Their stories, once filled with potential and promise, were cut short by the actions of one man whose jealousy and obsession led to unimaginable consequences. The emotional toll on their loved ones is undeniable as they try to make sense of the senseless tragedy. The case serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked jealousy, possessiveness, and emotional abuse. As we reflect on the events that unfolded, it's clear that this was not just a crime of passion, but a series of behaviors that had escalated over time. If warning signs had been addressed earlier, if the need for intervention had been recognized, perhaps Anna and Rayburn could have been spared from this fate. This case is also a call to action for all of us. Domestic violence, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, affects countless individuals each year. The signs can be hard to see, and victims may feel trapped, isolated, or afraid to speak out. But it's crucial to remember that help is available. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, there are resources and support systems in place to provide assistance. No one should ever have to endure abuse in silence. As we close, we remember Anna and Rayburn for who they were and the lives they touched. Their memories will live on in the hearts of those who love them. Let this tragedy serve as a reminder to protect victims of abuse before it's too late and to stand up against the toxic behaviors that can lead to violence. Thank you for watching this documentary. If you found this story important, please like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime documentaries. Your support helps us share these vital stories. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, remember that help is available. Reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Stay safe and take care.